This is our guy, Sean, a young autistic surgeon with savant syndrome from the small city of Casper, Wyoming. Although he is not very good at expressing himself, the savant syndrome gives him the abilities like near photographic recall and noting minute details and changes, which are very helpful for being a surgeon. Today is the day of his interview at the prestigious St. Bonaventure Hospital in San Jose. In the early morning, he walks out of the house with his luggage. When passing by the football field, his memory is recalled back to his childhood, when he was often bullied by other children. But every time, his younger brother would rush over and protect him. Then, he takes a plane to San Jose International Airport. The bustling crowd makes him feel nervous, and he subconsciously takes out a toy scalpel wrapped in a handkerchief. Suddenly, a hanging billboard falls and smashes into another billboard next to it. Countless pieces of broken glass fall onto a boy like a rain of sharp knives, and the boy immediately passes out. The boy's parents are horrified and hurriedly call for help. A man calling himself a doctor quickly steps forward and covers the boy's bleeding wound with a clean cloth. At this moment, a voice comes from the crowd, "You are killing him. He is still a child, and his carotid artery should be a little higher. You are pressing his trachea, and he can't breathe now." After speaking, Sean walks over and moves the doctor's hand up a little. The boy immediately resumes breathing. Then, Sean quickly checks the child's body and finds a broken glass stuck in the child's chest, but Sean says calmly, "A piece of glass, he will be fine." The doctor can't help but cast an admiring glance at him and asks who he is.
I'm Dr. Sean Murphy. I'm a surgical resident at San Jose St. Bonaventure Hospital.
Sean stares at the boy's arm and sees that the boy has varicose veins. He takes another look at the boy's chest, and a complete picture of the human organ structure is immediately presented in his mind. Sean infers that it is intra-chest pressure, and the doctor immediately denies it. No, his chest is heaving. Sean explains that the boy's chest is not heaving normally, and he should have injuries in his left lung. This is a symptom of pneumothorax and needs immediate surgery. Sean says to the doctor, "Get ready to give him artificial respiration. His breathing is about to fail, and I will be back soon." Then he runs to the airport security to borrow a knife. However, he is autistic and not good at expressing himself. After being rejected by the security guard, he picks up the knife and runs away, but he doesn't make it very far. Fortunately, the boy's mother shows up in time to explain the situation. 5 minutes later, the child is already unable to breathe, and the doctor is giving him artificial respiration. Sean finally gets what he needs: a knife, a tube, a tape, and 2 bottles of whiskey, and he immediately starts to perform thoracic surgery on the boy. Sean firstly puts the knife and tube on the boy's chest and pours the whiskey on him. The whiskey is about 43 degrees so that the tools and the incision on the chest can be sterilized at the same time. He cuts the tube into 2 sections with a knife, then stuffs it into a bottle sealed with tape. Sean has already figured out the purpose of the operation, which is to expel the air around the lungs and allow the lungs to resume functioning. Sean begins the surgery. The boy's parents dare not look at the scene, while the doctor looks at Sean with puzzled eyes. The operation goes well. Sean squeezes the tube into the boy's body and then lifts the bottle up, and the whiskey immediately bubbles. The doctor finally can't help it and asks him what the use of this bottle is. Sean explains that the tube will let the air out of the boy's lungs until the wound is repaired, and the liquid in the bottle would prevent air from getting back in. The one-way valve he made works, and the boy begins to breathe. The boy's parents are excited with tears, and the crowd starts to applaud. This is the first time that Sean saves someone. From that moment, his legendary life of practicing medicine and saving people's lives begins. At the same time, the board of St. Bonaventure Hospital is debating fiercely whether Sean should join the hospital. Marcus, director of surgery, strongly opposes Sean, who has autism, to join his department. But the hospital director, Aaron Glassman, says, "I don't deny that Sean has autism, But he can take care of himself, and he has savant syndrome. He not only has excellent medical skills but also spatial intelligence. His angle of observation and analysis of things is also different from ordinary people, which is very unique. For surgeons, these capabilities are indisputable advantages. Aaron has been a mentor and good friend of Sean since he was 14, so he knows what Sean is capable of and what an excellent doctor he would become. At the moment, Sean is going with the ambulance to St. Bonaventure's Hospital. He suddenly notices that the boy's electrocardiogram is abnormal, so he tells the paramedic, but he doesn't take it seriously. Soon, they arrive at the hospital, and the attending cardiothoracic surgeon, Neil, sends Claire to fetch him. Sean repeatedly emphasizes that an echocardiogram should be done for the boy, but Claire sees that the boy's heart signs are normal and thinks it's unnecessary. Then she warns Sean to stay calm or he will be kicked out. But Sean is eager to know the boy's situation, so he still wants to follow them but is thrown out of the hospital by the security guards as a troublemaker. Although he tries to enter the hospital through other doors, the dutiful security guard seems to have foreseen his next move and arrives one step ahead every time. Helplessly, Sean looks at the raindrops falling from the eaves and can't help thinking of a sad rainy night when he was a child. During that time, he was rejected by several schools because of his autism. In a fit of rage, his father hit him and threw his beloved rabbit against the wall. Sean and his brother took the rabbit to find Dr. Glassman, who is now the director of St. Vincent's Hospital. In the operating room, the boy's surgery begins. Neil is very impressed by the one-way valve Sean has built. Although Claire doesn't take Sean's suggestions, she still tells Neil that maybe they should give the boy an echocardiogram. Soon Neil spots an abnormality during the operation and asks Claire why she suggested an echo for the boy. Then he asks an assistant to do the echo and goes outside to find Sean. But Sean is too nervous to express himself. Under Claire's guidance, he finally spits out 2 words, pericardial effusion. But then Neil gets a call saying the boy's echo is normal and rushes back. Claire brings him outside the operating room to watch the results together. After repeating it several times, Sean points out that there is a microscopic pitting deformity in the right atrium, but Neil says there should be no pericardial effusion. But Claire thinks that although it is not common, it is possible. The boy was cut by a lot of broken glass, and his carotid artery was cut open. If the glass entered the bloodstream, it might flow all the way from the vein to the superior vena cava and possibly pierce the superior vena cava. Then the blood would seep out from the back of the heart, limiting diastolic ventricular dilatation and blood filling, reducing the efficiency of the heart. Apparently, Neil accepted her thoughts. Claire breathes a sigh of relief. The hospital director, Aaron Glassman, is still trying to persuade the board to agree to hire Sean, but his effort doesn't seem to work much. Only Jessica, who has worked with him for many years, supports him in hiring Sean. The secretary interrupts the meeting and says that the video of Sean rescuing the little boy at the airport was posted online and has gone viral. The boy is having surgery in the number 2 operating room at the moment. So Dr. Glassman and Jessica immediately go there. They see Sean watching the operation closely. The scene in the operating room reminds Sean of the time he and his brother played on an abandoned school bus. On that bus, Sean's brother gave him the toy scalpel to encourage him. As Sean predicted, Neil finds a piece of broken glass near the boy's superior vena cava. Together, they look out the window at Sean and are shocked by his magical abilities. After the operation, Aaron tries to convince Neil to let Sean join his team, but Neil refuses after learning that Sean is autistic. Then Aaron promises the board that Sean will be fired if he fails to prove his abilities within 6 months, and he will also resign from his position as director. The board members are surprised by his words, but the chairman of the board wants to hear Sean's thoughts on why he wants to become a surgeon. After a long silence, Sean musters up his courage and starts speaking. Sean says that as a child, he was often bullied at school, and his father also despised him at home. Only his younger brother would try his best to protect him. One time, his pet rabbit died. It was the first time that Sean wished to be a doctor so he could save his rabbit. His younger brother gave him a toy scalpel to encourage him.
You can do anything. And I'm proud of you, Sean.
Sean always carries the scalpel with him. However, one day, when they were playing in a warehouse, his younger brother accidentally fell and died. At this point, Sean's eyes are full of tears, and he continues, "My rabbit and my brother went to heaven in front of my eyes, and I'm sad that I can't save them. They lost the chance to grow into adulthood. They were supposed to grow up and have children of their own and love their children. So I hope to be able to help others achieve this." Then he said, "I also want to make a lot of money and buy a TV," and everyone smiles with relief. The chairman reaches out her hand and welcomes Sean as a member of the hospital. Soon, Sean's first surgery begins. He puts on the surgical gown and enters the operating room. But Neil mocks Sean, "You are very smart, but you don't belong here. So as long as you are part of my team, you will always be holding the suction." Sean responded bluntly, "You are much better than the doctors I saw in medical school. I have a lot to learn from you, but you're very arrogant. Is that what makes you a good surgeon?" The end.